Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to get into something really fundamental for any project, the business case.
That's right. It's maybe one of the most crucial elements.
We've been looking at some core ideas, drawing inspiration from Project Management for Project Managers by Orlando Casabon. And it's clear that having that solid justification, it's not just, ticking a box.
Not at all. It's about ensuring the project is actually worthwhile from start to finish. Think of it as continued business justification.
Continue. Okay, so not just a snapshot at the beginning.
Exactly. You need to constantly ask, does this still make sense? Is it still achievable, still desirable?
Okay.
Circumstances change, right?
Things always shift.
So it has to be an ongoing evaluation, not a one-off check.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, there's a common idea, isn't there, that maybe only the really big projects, the ones with obvious financial returns, need a formal business case.
Yeah, you hear that a lot, but it's a misconception. The principle is clear. Every project needs a documented reason for existing.
Every single one, even if the benefits aren't easily measured in dollars.
Precisely. Whether it's strategic alignment, meeting regulations, improving efficiency, it doesn't matter. It needs to be written down, justified.
And what about projects that are part of a bigger program? Does the program's justification cover the smaller ones within it?
Good question. No, it doesn't. Even if it's nested under a larger initiative, each individual project still requires its own specific business case.
Really? Why is that?
Well, because each project consumes resources, time, money, people. You need to be sure that specific piece of work delivers value relative to its cost, within the context of the program, of course.
Okay, that level of rigor is interesting. Brings me to another point. What about like really small, simple projects?
Yeah.
Does something tiny still need a formal case?
According to robust methodologies like Prince2, the answer is yes. Documented justification is required across the board.
Even for the quick wins?
Even for those. It might seem like overkill sometimes, like extra paperwork, but it forces discipline. It ensures even minor efforts are actually contributing to strategic goals and aren't just, busy work or someone's pet project that drains resources. It prevents that drift.
Got it. So it keeps everything aligned no matter the scale.
Exactly. And it's not like you have to write a novel for a tiny project, but the reason why you're doing it needs to be clear and agreed upon.
And you mentioned earlier it's not static.
Yeah.
So this document, the business case, it evolves.
Absolutely. It's a living document. You don't just write it and file it away.
So you revisit it.
Yes, it needs to be reviewed maybe at key stages, or if significant changes happen, you update it to reflect the current reality. It's about checking if the justification still holds true.
Not starting from scratch each time, but making sure it's still valid.
Precisely. Validating that initial rationale against what's happening now.
So wrapping this up then, the main takeaway seems pretty stark. A business case isn't optional.
Not at all. It's indispensable for every single project. Big, small, tangible benefits, intangible ones.
The principle of continued justification is key.
It's absolutely fundamental for project success.
For listeners who want to perhaps dive deeper into these project management principles and the importance of the business case.
Yeah, I'd definitely recommend the book we drew inspiration from, Project Management for Project Managers by Orlando Casabon. It really lays out these core ideas very effectively.
Great suggestion. And maybe a final thought for everyone listening. How could consistently applying this principle, really demanding that business justification for everything, how might that change the success rate of the projects you see or work on?
That's a powerful question to consider.
Definitely something to mull over. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.